I noticed something this morning when I woke up and I was going to take Riley out. I put the e-collar on her and I had it like this and she jumped up into it. And, it was kind of like jumped up into it wagging her tail. That's what I want to say real quick is, Riley, is that if you ever see like your dog shaking when you're putting on the e-collar, don't ever console a dog you think is frightened. I didn't think that she was frightened. I thought she was excited. So the very next day when we put her on, she wasn't shaking, and now she just looks at everything. The e-collar is like, oh, we get to train. Dogs love training. It's a fact. Remember, training is a lifetime of your dog. And if your dog's trained to do commands, do it periodically throughout the dog's life. And if you can incorporate training into your daily schedule with the dog, you'll have a healthy, happy dog. Now, one of the things that we've been working on with Riley is her getting used to the hairdryer. See the tail wag? She didn't like this sound. And when I first turned it on, she was shaking and stuff. Let me get the camera and we'll get closer and I'll show you that she's not shaking anymore. She's doing great. Good girl, Riley. So like when she goes back, if her mom just puts her at sit and uses the hairdryer, maybe she should do this, honestly, when she's not blow drying her hair. Do it as a training scenario. That way your timing's on, your hands are sort of ready to go if there is a problem. Maybe even like she could put her at sit and step on the leash like this so that Riley, in case she was so used to getting into that sort of fear state, that overexcited state, she can't gain forward motion. So Riley's mom should probably get her close, sit on the leash like this, and then, start the hairdryer up. Let's start. And do it on low first. Good girl, Riley. See, she's not shaking. There is no shaking going on. Good girl, Riley. She's wagging her tail. She's wagging her tail. She's not shaking and she's not trying to bolt. We'll turn it up high. Good girl, Riley. Good girl, Riley. She's just looking at me like, what's the big deal? That's how they get. They get like, and that's what you want. You want the dog to not make a big deal about something like this. So, do you understand? Like, this isn't anything to be afraid of. This is like in every, it sounds like it's growling to the dog. Right, Riley? That's right, Riley. See her little tail? Can you see her tail? Riley. All these things like skateboards, hair dryers, they make a growling sound and it flips out a lot of dogs, and then the dog just starts responding negatively, and it gets worse and worse, and they start adding in things like maybe a power drill. If she was staying longer, I'd get a power drill out. I have a hammer drill that would work great. You want to desensitize the dog, and most of all, you want to make sure that the dog doesn't bolt. The dog needs to learn to put up with this. Like you tell the dog to sit, it needs to stay at sit, right? So it's sort of, she's good to go for going back home, and her mom can, keep conditioning this. Just set a day aside and probably do this, and she won't have any trouble again. Good girl, Riley. Good girl. So there's no shaking going on with Riley. There isn't. She's acting like totally normal now. See her tail? Her tail's moving. She's starting to associate this with something that's not. It's not going to hurt her. It's not going to do anything. That shaking, it's really no big deal, but you don't want it either. It's an overexcitement. You don't want to encourage any type you don't want to encourage the dog being overly excited about anything. So watch out what you're saying around the dog too. Good girl, right? Give me a kiss. Good girl. See, she's not flipped out. Do you see her tail moving? Just real slow like that? Good girl, Rod. Where are you going, Rod? Riley, down. Good girl. Good girl, Riley. Riley! That's how Scooby-Doo would say her name. That's awesome, dude. She's awesome. She's such a beautiful dog. The color on the Red Fox Lab, I love it. Riley! Good girl. No, sit. Down.
girl. She loves to work. She's a working dog.
Nice job, Riley. That's a very good girl. Heel?